In part 2 of this one-part series, I talked about my escape from Mormonism and the mountain of questions which confronted me as a newly free-thinking person. Having been duped for the first 27 years of my life, my first priority was to figure out how to keep that from ever happening again. That desire led me to modern skepticism and the scientific method, the bullshit detection kit of critical thinking, if you will. Instead of learning what to think, the foundation of religious thinking, I learned how to think. The next big question for me was a little easier because of those newly acquired critical thinking skills. The question itself was even easy. Do I believe in magic? Is the world basically as it appears, or does some invisible curtain obscure our view of unseen forces and agents who pull strings and manipulate our reality in order to sway the world towards some predetermined agenda we can't fully see or comprehend? But even that is a bit narrow, isn't it? This magic question is bigger than simply wondering if there's a God whose omnipotence guides our universe. It touches every aspect of life, from the extraterrestrials who some believe landed here in the 50s to give us the beginnings of the advanced technology we enjoy today, to the idea that we can mold the universe to our liking by controlling and directing our thoughts. These hidden realities don't necessarily require a deity at all, and are more akin to Arthur C. Clarke's observation that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. So let's divide the two. First, the magical God question, and in this case, the God of Abraham specifically. Critical thinking skills will have you examining claims and the supporting evidence, which I've shown in previous videos is simply lacking, from the flood and Exodus stories to the ability of Christians to raise the dead or be unaffected by the bite of venomous snakes. But equally important is an understanding of the times and places in which such claims arose. Modern humans have the advantage of having a dramatically advanced understanding of the world and how it works, compared with the thinking of the Bronze and Roman Age peoples who originally claimed interaction with the divine. We understand the mechanisms, the natural processes which long ago were explained and understood as the consequences of mindful, willful, magical agents. God, angels, Satan, demons, witches, etc. Not that all of us understand that today. Some people still believe that certain natural events are the result of God's displeasure with human activity. But putting those people aside, our modern scientific understanding of the natural world confronts us with a question of weight. If the peoples of the Bronze and Roman Ages claim that, let's say 20 things or events, for instance, resulted from the actions of a magical agent, and we've been able to investigate, demonstrate, and understand that 19 of the 20 are the function of some natural mechanism, what then are the odds that one last thing or event is the result of a supernatural being whose mere existence can't even be demonstrated? This is where we're at, as we have yet to investigate any such claims and come to the conclusion that we are at the mercy of an underlying fabric of magical beings and realms. We have questions that remain unanswered, yes, but that leaves us ignorant. And ignorance never signifies anything beyond ignorance. This brings us to those other magical claims which don't require a god per se, but merely an underlying realm of imagined magic. Water dowsing, astrology, homeopathy, the so-called law of attraction, that kind of thing. All of which suffer equally when examined carefully and methodically. There have been certain claims in this realm which have proved true, in alternative medicine, for instance, but when that has been the case, we end up finding, or at least understanding to some degree, a natural causal mechanism. As Tim Minchin so eloquently asked, you know what they call alternative medicine that's been proved to work? Medicine. The deeper question here is, why are we so inclined to believe in magic? Dan Dennett's brilliant insight is that believing in magic is an evolutionary advantage. In light of what we know about the efficacy of the placebo effect, that those who sincerely believe in a remedy with no actual benefit will do better, those who honestly believed in that witch doctor's nonsensical cure had an evolutionary advantage of surviving and passing on that believing gene. But I think there's a less brilliant, more simple answer as well. The natural world sucks. It's capricious and cruel, unkind and unforgiving. Brutal and disheartening, we are at its mercy, and almost infinitely more so thousands of years ago when the magical worldview was ubiquitous. Buried in such ignorance, who among us wouldn't seek the favor of some imagined magical being who pulls the strings and might be persuaded to do so to our advantage if only we'll do our part? Ironically, that's exactly what we've done, not by appealing to some magical agent, but by understanding the underlying mechanisms of the natural world and using that understanding to pull the strings ourselves. This is perhaps the best reason not to believe in magic, as doing so drastically hinders our ability to understand the natural world and bend it to our will in order to fix what can in fact be fixed. More than anything else, that is what caused me to give up on the magical worldview. The evidence was simply overwhelming. The magical worldview led to devastating ignorance and suffering, remedied only by the slow U-turn of the Enlightenment and the scientific revolution, the benefits of which you're enjoying right this minute. For those of you looking to make the world a better place, there is indeed a path, reliable and open to everyone. There's simply no magical way to find it or get there.